In the sport, I mean, in the sport that I'm in right now, and there's no disrespect to anyone. I love our guys, but I think in combat sports in general, not just MMA, there's almost an endemic of overtraining, and that is the issue of the warrior spirit, right? So the warrior spirit is critical to what our athletes are, our fighters. That's why they're so good at what they do. They will run through a brick wall, whereas a normal person will not. They'll go to some deep, dark places. But that can, if that's inappropriately managed, that's going to get in their way, right? So often our role is to pull the horses back a little bit, is to just formulate a better approach, a better strategy. We don't want to dilute any of that desire, any of that spirit, any of that internal intrinsic motivation that makes them so special to go into those deep places. We've just got to do it in the right order, the right structure, the right fashion, the right distribution across time, the right progression. And I think that's what our role is a lot of the time. And I think I see that more in our domain right now than, say, my time with basketball or soccer or rugby or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I mean, so you're holding back the reins where necessary because they will drive through.
Absolutely. They're going to redline. They're going to redline every session as much as they can. It's a fight, right? Everything in fighters fight. That's what they do. So if you give them a workout, they're going to win and fight that workout. If you give them a sparring session, they're going to win that sparring session. If you give them a technical drilling, the technical drilling is still going to be, they're going to try and win that battle. And that's kind of what I'm saying, is that they often, and it's not, I don't want to say that this is a bad thing, right? But we just got to channel it, I think, in our sport.
It just has to be. It has to be funneled. It has to be managed.
Right.
I guess brings us to the next point, or the next thing I was going to talk about you for the beginning of this is the UFC PI.
Right.
Now, that would be the idea, is that you're trying to build trust. That's what I was going to get at. It'd be so important in that case when you're dealing with a fighter who's the result of their sport is not the same as the result of a basketball game. We can agree, right? So like you said, if you get a guy who's already, or a girl who's already in their brain, they're genetically a fighter, they want to fight, and their sport involves them protecting their life, not only their livelihood.
Consequences are pretty big.
The consequences are pretty damn big, right? So they would really have to trust you to tell them to back away. Right. And even more than other athletes, like you really do. I've dealt with a lot of team athletes, and I got to be honest, these are amazing. I'm not insulting professional team athlete, but individual athletes, I think they inherently have I'm in this. They're in this alone, no matter what happens. So there is no pause or relaxation or off season, or I'll just let myself put on 10 pounds here or there. It does, especially now in UFC. I notice everyone's ready all the time.
Yeah.
Right. This is not like BJ Penn, right? BJ, weight goes on, weight comes off, weight goes on, weight. The olden days. It's not like that anymore, right?
Yeah.
So I was getting at a question there. So what I was going to say is, without trust in your knowledge, it must be impossible to hold back on the reins.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. And if you're the eighth man on a basketball team, you can probably hide and have a night off, right? And get by. But there's no hiding in the octagon. It's one of one, right? And if you're successful, it's because of you. And if you fail, it's because of you. So you're absolutely right. Like building a relationship, number one, but then a confidence of the athlete to say, hey, these guys have got my best interest at heart. They know what they're talking about, or they're trying to improve me and support my progress. Giving up that, like taking down those barriers and giving up that much control, let's say, is something that is really challenging for individual fighters. But that's what we're trying to do. Is we know we don't have all the answers, and I think this is a partnership. We're a stakeholder in their success, and that's how we want to message it. But we also want to demonstrate our awareness, our insights. I think what we try to do, and Forrest Griffin, my colleague, says this the best, that we've got great technical knowledge in combat sports, in MMA. And what we have at the PI is great expertise in supplementary services, physiology, sports science, medical, strength and conditioning, nutrition, whatever. And what we're trying to do is marry these two and bring these two together. Now that, some marriages work well and some marriages are rocky, and we've got to work through that.